Right, so welcome back to Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over the world. And you know what? I've got the mafioso back in the house. Yeah, not 1/3 or 2/3. It's a full house tonight, man. Oh, dearie me. We're going to be talking about the game yesterday with Olympiakos, and there's some news that Stan wants to talk about, as well as the FA Cup action back on Monday with Portsmouth. But if you want to make sure that you're going to receive the latest and greatest news, make sure you subscribe to Cannon Florida TV and also hit the notification bell button as well for all the latest and greatest news right here on Cannon Florida TV. Right, so yeah, we're back with the Easytalk every Friday, 7 p.m. UK time. Depends where you are in the world. It's going to vary, of course. Like I said, we've got the Mafia, Cannon Florida TV and Mafia, Mube Guna. We've got Stan the Man, or Stan the Geezer, I could call him, or IG, aka the Indian Guna, back in the house. Right, guys, how are you this evening, this morning, this afternoon? How are you guys doing?
All's
Smash
well, all's well.
Everybody's waiting for the next person to answer. We're all good.
It's actually Alex didn't name somebody.
Yeah, I think
blame that on Alex.
Yeah, blame it on me, man. Everyone blames it on me. You know, blame the defeat on me as well.
Yeah,
well, he's like Cannon for the he's like Cannon for the TV's Akon. Just blame it on him.
There you go. There you go. Get blamed for everything. Yeah. So you know, if you haven't heard already the breaking news, Arsenal lost yesterday. Maybe you haven't been on planet Earth over the last 24 hours. But yeah, we want to kind of break things down if it's possible to break the game down yesterday. Stan, what were your thoughts yesterday with this game?
I'm very, very disappointed. It's not so much that we lost that game and we're out of Europe. For me, it was the manner of the loss. I don't mind losing the match when I see everybody battling and doing everything that they can, but I didn't see any of that yesterday. And if we start with the lineup, you know, when I saw the lineup, I thought it was a strong lineup, and it's obvious that the Europa League is the basket that Mikel Arteta was putting all of his Arsenal eggs into. I think he wanted to go as far as he could in that competition, and why not? You know, he's a competitive guy. Why wouldn't you want to win a European Cup for Arsenal? You know, it may not have been the lineup that I would have initially started with, but it was a strong lineup nonetheless.
When you say what lineup do you have? Were there any surprises in that lineup?
Yeah, for me, I thought the biggest surprise that I consider this game yesterday probably our most important game up until that point in the season, because it's vital I think it's vital that Arsenal gets back into the Champions League if they want to, if we want to be where we think that we should be. And Lacazette, has been his form has been in the toilet for some time. I like the way that we used him at Newcastle, coming off of the bench when we look like we may have the game sewn up, and see if he can chip in with a goal to work his way back in with some confidence. And I think that we should have continued doing that. And yesterday, personally, I would have liked to have seen Aubameyang playing centrally, and we start with Martinelli on the left-hand side with Xhaka behind him and Pepe on the right-hand side. That's what I would have gone with. But with the amount of goals that Aubameyang is still chipping in with, there is a big argument to keep things how they are. I do get that. But that would have been the starting lineup that I would have gone with on the attacking side.
Mube Guna, your thoughts on the game yesterday?
I thought I missed the game. I thought I missed the whole game because I was still at work till late. So I was like, I gave up on it. Came home.
Lucky guy.
I catch the worst part of the game. That's the problem. I thought I was coming home to watch the replays and look at Arsenal. I caught the last 5 minutes of the game, so I was there just in time to see Aubameyang scored, and then to see them scored, and then Aubameyang missed that chance of it, obviously. So I saw the worst part of the game. that I could have caught. I really didn't see the game, but when I saw the lineup, I was at work. I checked the lineup. I thought it was a strong lineup. Like Stan said, there was surprises in there because if you look at the team and I was surprised in the lineup, but I wasn't surprised by the performance because if you look at how the team finished the game on Sunday in the Premier League, most players were gassed, and we could all see it. This is like 3 days later, and the same players are on the field. Like these players they're all gassed on Sunday. I doubt every last one of them could recover. And I have no surprise. There was no surprise we started out flat. Like I said, I didn't see the game, but obviously it was 0-0 at halftime, and everybody's saying that we were flat. But I was expecting a little bit more change. I was expecting to see Torreira come in the field. I mean, we had a lead. We had a 1-goal lead. We wasn't trying to concede. So I was expecting to see Torreira come in. I was expecting to see Martinelli come in. I was expecting to see Lacazette play, but because he didn't start on the weekend. But it's just so much changes that I think that should have been made that wasn't made. I'm not going to blame Arteta for going strong. Let's not get that twisted because if it's an important game, you want your best players on the field. But I have no surprise that we came out flat. These players, we played 3 games in 7 days. The last one at home against Everton, second half, last 20 minutes of that game, we were just hanging on to that 1-goal lead. And then to turn around right after that and play on Thursday again in another very important match, that the team is coming at them. I think it was just too much for these players.
IG.
Well, the mood on this channel is like someone's dead, actually. I mean, come on, guys. European football is gone. I mean, why are we behaving like as if we own Arsenal? Like we're not going to get those amount of revenues. I mean, get some cheering up because I think in European competitions the best team wins, and every team has an opportunity until the final whistle blows. That's the criteria of every game. But I think credit goes to the Olympiakos team because they played as if they wanted this. See, we had a lot of fixtures, as Mubay rightfully said. We had a lot of fixtures, and if you've seen, Aubameyang has already featured in almost all of those games. But still, that guy did that bicycle kick. He missed. I don't want to blame him, but I think it's not a question that we did not create many chances. We did. We did not just take those chances. We were not clinical enough. And when you know that you don't take those chances, there is somebody waiting to punish you. You see, if I think I would I think I was not expecting their second goal actually, but I think conceding a corner was not expected from Leno, and most importantly, the distribution has always been the issue for him. And not only that, I think if you're a defender like David, I mean not like David Luiz. I mean, even if you're a defender, if you're not aware of a ball of a cross coming in, I think if it would have been Mustafi there, I think he would have headed the ball much better. But Luiz letting Al Arabi run over him, on side, and it was just a tap in. That's it. I don't want to blame. I don't want to take a credit of Olympiakos team, but I really would want to say that if you on the biggest and the grandest stage of them all, if you don't stand up, if you be wasteful, I'm sorry, you don't deserve to go forward.
Stan, you guys were right. That I was at the game last night, and Muba does say that the players they were probably out on their feet. I can tell you, actually watching the game being played out live there, in possession, the players looked clueless. They didn't have an idea, once in possession, what they were supposed to be doing. Do you think it was a case that they were really tired, or do you just think it was just maybe some other effect, the reason why Arsenal didn't play to the best of their ability?
I felt like I was watching an away game. It didn't feel like that we were playing at home.
Yeah.
And look, when we got that draw against Olympiakos, and I knew that the first leg was over there at Olympiakos, I was a little bit concerned for us inside because it's a very difficult place to go to. And when we got that win, I was like, well, you know what? I think we're going to get this in the second leg because we've done the hardest bit. We've gone to Olympiakos. We've come away with a 1-0. We should be able to wrap this up at home. And as a little caveat, and we even got an extra half an hour yesterday to put it right, and we still couldn't get the job done with an extra half an hour. It's not good enough, man. It's not good enough. And you know what? I still have faith that Mikel Arteta is looking at everybody in this team. And I just trust in him that when it comes to the summer, he's going to get rid of the players that let him down and bring in new players that he believes that he can work with. And he is seeing now, week in, week out, the players that are letting him down. And it does seem to be a lot of the senior players as well, which is the embarrassing part about it, you know, because I do hear what IG's saying about, you know, playing so quickly and being tired. However, when Martinelli came on as late as he did, there seemed to be a whole new energy in the team. You know, when Martinelli is on the pitch, it's almost like he forces other players to up their tempo a little bit, because that's the tempo that he's playing at. And everybody around him, it becomes infectious. And if they were tired, they didn't look tired when Martinelli came on. So to me, that tells me that's like in their heads, you know. They went into this leg thinking that they had got the job done. The first half was pathetic. There was nothing going on in that first half. And that's when the manager is supposed to go in at half time and say, okay, this is where they're nullifying us. This is what we need to do to counter that. It didn't look like that happened, because we came out at the second half, and to make it even worse, not only did we not put, get our towels up, they scored a goal, a soft goal. And it just went from bad to worse. Who watching this podcast or on this panel, when you saw Aubameyang with that magnificent goal, did you not think, that's a game-winning goal right there? That's the kind of goal that wins you games. But then look what happened. We let them put another one past us, and then when we had the chance we got a second reprieve, Aubameyang missed what I call is a bread and butter shot. I love the scissor kick, don't get me wrong, but shots like the scissor kick, you don't do that in every game. Those shots where you're right in front of goal and you've got to keep your concentration, that's your bread and butter goal. And he failed to do that. I'm hugely disappointed with the manner of the performance.
Mube. Mube. I mean, for you, do you think there were any real good performances that came out yesterday? Any players that took your eye?
Like I said, I only saw the last part of the game, and I refused to go back and watch it. So you know, I didn't really see much of it. Like I said, it's just from watching clips of it, seeing the highlights. The goals that we conceded are just like Arsenal. Like the first goal, there's so much mistake on that first goal, and it's like it's from the same players that make these mistakes over and over again. The second goal, a corner kick, it's the last kick of the game pretty much, and that just can't happen. Yes, Leno gave away that corner, but you got a set piece, just clear it. You have to get that away. Socrates have to get that away. David Luiz have to do better. You two are the central defenders, and I keep telling people that Socrates is just a passion merchant. Like he's one of the worst defenders at the club. He's worse than Mustafi. You guys know I don't rate Mustafi. I still don't. People still want to talk about he's improved on Mikel Arteta. Look, these players are just not good enough to get us to the level that we want to go to. It's just a fact of it. You know, Granit Xhaka is not good enough to get us to where we want to go to, you know, as a starter in our starting 11. And it's not. This is not going off yesterday's performance or anything. It's just, these players are just not good enough. It don't matter if they're improved. Mustafi is like at his max, as good as he can play, and that's it's still not good enough. We're still conceding goal and conceding soft goals. So, what good is going to come out of this game? I don't know. Maybe it's better to lose now rather than losing the final or the semifinal. You know, playing Thursday and playing on Sunday. Maybe we'll have some Saturday games now. The guys like you, Alex, can get up and go to a midday game on a Saturday because we don't play on Thursday anymore. You know, maybe we can try and go all out to, I don't know, finish 8th in the Premier League or something. Top 4, you know, if we play like this against Olympiakos, what are we going to do in the league? Like, it's not easy to play in the Premier League. We see that over and over again. It's just depending on the same players, man. The same players let us down every time, and we're expecting better out of them. We are going to support them. But don't get it wrong. I'm not blaming Mikel Arteta for none of this, because the same players are making the same mistakes. They're just not good enough. So let's wait until the summer, like Stan said, and hope Arteta will get the players or get a few players in that he needed. We can get some of these, you know, big egos out of this team, man, because we just need to rebuild. You look at a player like Lacazette, what happened to him? That's my guy, but I didn't even get to see him play. But for the chances that I see on the replay that fell to him, and not just in this leg, the first leg also, the game should have been finished in the first leg. This tie should have been over. The amount of chances that we created over there, open, easy tapping chances that we missed, and he come back to bite us. Like IG say, if you don't take your chances, it's gonna come back eventually. That's just the name of the game. Me and you, we don't play ball, but we know exactly. We watch this game enough to see that it's gonna happen eventually. You're gonna get punished for not taking your chances. I don't blame Aubameyang at all. We've seen this before from him though, and I say it a lot of times. He missed a lot of easy chances. It's not the first time it has happened. This is probably the biggest stage that has happened because it was the last kick of the game and it means so much. But we've seen him time and time again miss sitters. He would have scored a lot more goals if he was more clinical. He's not a clinical striker, and he scores a lot of goals because his movement allow him to get a lot of chances, but he does miss a lot. He really does. So the good out of this, we're out of the Europa League. I didn't care much about the competition anyway, but it would have been another one for us to try and go foreign and trying to get some of these players some more game time. But look, man, we move on. It's all about next season, and we already said it. We're going to give Arteta the rest of the season to try and figure it out. So it's all or nothing in the Premier League now, I guess.
Yeah. IG. I mean, from your perspective, do you think there were any like good performances from the players last night? Could you pick out one or two players, or not any?
I think if you want me to, then I'll pick up Mustafi and most probably Aubameyang. Because I think if I would want to really criticize, I think that type of defending actually gets managers sacked. That type of defending gets you sacked. I mean, that's really harsh. I mean, when you know that there's a set piece coming in, if you see David Luiz, even if you go back to the second goal that El Arabi actually scored, you can see David Luiz trying to reach the ball, but he's so far away that his positioning is so pathetic. I mean, they were trying. If you go to see that exactly, every other striker is offside except for El Arabi. And do you know why he's not offside? Because of one of the one of the genius defenders not following the line, and that is David Luiz. And if you're not following your lines, that's first thing. And even if you don't, if you're going for the ball, just get the ball. And if it's a set piece, if you don't get the first touch in defending, if you don't clear it out, game over. Game over. Everyone is lurking to score a goal. And I think there's a stat which says that when Lacazette has started for Arsenal this season, I think they've won just somewhere around 18% of the game. Sorry, 26% of the game. And when he has not, Arsenal have won 50% of the game. So it tells a lot. I think he's having the worst season of his life. I love the guy. I want him to stay, or I want him to perform. But I think we've been through this. I think we had this kind of situation last season as well, where there were two different teams, us and Chelsea. I mean, we and them both are progressing well in the Europa League, and also same situation was in the table as well. But what Chelsea did? They finished fourth and they won the Europa League. And what Arsenal did? We finished fifth and we lost the Europa League. If you don't take your chances, runners up.
Yeah. There were a couple of tweets that I kind of picked out this morning. Let's run through them. One here says, shame that Aubameyang missed at the end will overshadow Lacazette's dropping a 2 out of 10 disaster class and missing an open goal header. But fear not, I'm here to remind you all how bad we really are. Another one says, we are shoveled in, showed bang average for football, and tossed out again week after week, season after season. Regular sales tickets on tourists, take over on European League nights. I don't blame them when there's nothing on the pitch. It's hard to get going. I've got to say, because actually, it's not only last night. Whenever I've gone to see Arsenal play at the Emirates, the away fans, they make so much noise, and it's a 60,000 capacity. But you've got the away fans making so much more noise than what we do. How can that be so? How can it be so? Ozil offers absolutely nothing. It was ridiculous to keep Lacazette on for so long, and mostly worrying. Excuse me, Bellerin looks done at the top level. Thought Ozil was good. Martinelli should have been on for Lacazette much earlier, and yes, Bellerin lost his speed, etc. since his injury. There's just so many elements that was just not right last night. Mube, I know you were saying how you don't blame Arteta for what happened last night, but he's choosing these players. He's choosing these players.
Yeah, he is, and you can't blame them. You got to blame the manager to an extent. I mean, everybody's responsible for a defeat like this, but I mean, we've seen it from the same players. Like I said, when he first started, we complained about Mustafi, and every manager that come in seemed to pick him. Ljungberg did it. It's just happening for some reason. I don't know why they keep picking this guy, and I'm not picking at Mustafi or anything, but it's just a fact. I don't know, man. We can't. How much can we blame the managers when the same players keep making the same mistakes? I don't know. I'm done with these players, man. It's time to ship them out. I really am.
Yeah. Let me just quickly go into the chat because the chat has just been lit up. I've got. Who have I got here? I've got. Let's have a look. Beaks box threats beats. There's nothing more to it. Arsenal are a joke. Thank you for your comments. That's nice. Arteta out. No experience. Was just Pep's water boy. Kroenke out too. Oh, harsh words. Arteta out. Arteta out. Are you serious?
I think unknown driller has to be out.
I think that's a little overreactionary.
Yeah.
Well, but
yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. This one of the I guarantee this one of the person that didn't want Arteta in the first place. So whenever something goes wrong, they're gonna blame him. It's just a fact.
Mube, even I did not want Arteta, but dude, we've got to stick together. This is the best time. And if you hear Arteta out, oh my God, this is what I call a snowflake.
Yeah. What is 10 games in, 11 games in, probably. I don't know. It's pretty bad.
Yeah. Yusuf says, if you guys think you're gonna get anywhere in top 4, you guys are crazy optimistic. Oh, I'd read in local papers that now Arteta is saying to the guy he's going to try and pick up the players as a coach or manager has to do, but he's still thinking that there was a possibility for top 4, Stan.
Well, he's the manager, and he has to instill belief, right? Without having belief, then there's nothing to play for. We've got to play every single game now, like the end of the world matters on it. And if it gets to the stage that we don't make it, and let's say we miss out by 1 point, at least if we can look back and say, okay, we missed it by 1 point, but they gave everything, rather than, well, we can't get it. It's out of our reach now. Let's just, go into games a little bit half-hearted. If we win, great. If we lose, well, we were never going to get there. That's the wrong attitude.
Yeah. And he also goes on to say, and Aubameyang is off. He ain't going to win anything with Arsenal. I saw your Goodness Vancouver reaction video. Is Aubameyang look like a player who's going to stay?
Not to me.
Want to stay at Arsenal?
Just to go off on that, the two faces of Aubameyang yesterday, when he scored that sort of scissor kick, the celebration, the elation, his face, it was there. You could see how much that goal meant. But then when they equalised, and also when he missed that sitter, his expression then, I thought, especially after they equalised, his face looked like he was saying, are you fucking having a laugh? What the fuck do we have to do here? I've done my bit, and look again, you fuckers at the back, you've let them score. For fuck's sake. That's what his expression looked like to me. You know what I'm saying? He looked vexed.
Okay.
And it was probably that anger and that frustration that made him probably snatch at that second chance, because he really looked angry. And he could have helped, he may have lost his composure.
Lumberkamp says, Aubameyang and Pep want balls they can run onto and not balls to feet. And we crossed the ball in when their CBs were so dominant in the air. stupid tactics from Arteta. You know, like we when we had the fan comments, I spoke to James Rowe. Most of the defenders, Olympiakos, are like 6'2" minimum. So why are we trying to fire in, you know, high balls when we know that the CBs are so tall? Beggars belief. Because Glenn says Arteta needs his own players. Bourne has to back him now. Is that going to happen? I don't know. And then whoops. Shamak says, Shamak? Maron Shamak, is it it can't be. Arsenal defense was formatted by Mane's hairline, 360. Yeah, cheers. Thanks for that. Shamak, that's a good one. And we'll do one more. We need to play 4-4-2 with Aubameyang and Pepe up top, so that Pepe doesn't have to take on 5-man every time he gets the ball. But Lumbercamp, like I said, you know, from the get-go, the movement of the ball was so slow. So by the time he got the ball, there were 2, 3, 4 players on him. It was the movement of the ball and where he was starting. He was started so deep that he stood no chance of making any kind of real attack. But he had chances.
We seen that before too. We seen that before.
For me, yesterday with Pepe, if the name of the game was trying to keep the football as long as you could, if that was what football was all about, he'd be a superstar, because that's all he does. He keeps that ball for far too long. Too long.
Yeah. One more from Shamak. We should snap centre back from Olympiakos, and we need a huge defender, not a little down the road, a reject. Yeah, okay, thanks for that. Right. There was some tweets over the last few hours, and I think Stan wanted to talk about a particular player again that divides the fan base like no other player that I can remember in living memory does. Stan, what did you want to talk about, mate?
Well, usually after a football game, especially after 24 hours, if I'm a little bit angry about the result, I usually sort of simmer down a little bit and I'm able to look at things, you know, with a better perspective. So I woke up this morning, I picked up my phone, opened up Arsblog to see what was happening in the world, and saw a story that he posted. Now, before I get into this story, I just want to caveat with what I'm about to say with this, right? The children that MESUT OZIL helps with his money, with the operations that he does, is a commendable thing. It's a very commendable thing. However, what I want to talk about is the football player, MESUT OZIL, and not the man, all right? I'm more concerned about what he does as a football player. So let me read you this article, okay? And this was an article from Ozil's agent that he done. And it says here, MESUT OZIL's agent, Dr. Erkut Sogart, says that there is no chance that the 31-year-old will leave Arsenal before the end of his contract. The German's £350,000 a week deal runs until June 2021, at which point he'll be able to leave on a Bosman, something Sogart said he's already considering. He says he still has 15 months to go. Until then, he will stay at Arsenal for sure. He will stay until the end of his contract. There is no chance he will leave. He's going into the end of his contract. He'll be 32 years old. He'll be a free agent, and it's not a bad situation. He will have probably 100 million followers on social media side at that time. His marketing will be bigger at that time. He's 32, so he can go and play in top-level football for the next 2 or 3 years. And I just thought to myself, that is really like, you're going to come out with this article on the back of us going out of Europe. I think, first of all, that the timing of this article is damn selfish. Yeah, there's more to Arsenal Football Club than MESUT OZIL. Yeah, and what I get from that article is, it doesn't matter what goes down with this guy's career. no matter what, if you decide never to pick this guy again, he is going to stay to the very end of his contract. And I said it from day one. I said that when he got that £350 grand a week contract, I said, this is what will happen. No matter what happens, he will see that out to the very bitter end, and then he'll pack his bags and he'll go off to Turkey on a free with a really nice payday from the Turkish club, because I haven't had to give any money to Arsenal. It's almost like if Real Madrid came to Arsenal tomorrow and said, look, we want to buy MESUT OZIL. And you know what, MESUT, we will also guarantee you playing time every week. But you know what? We're only going to pay you £150,000 a week. He'd tell him to walk, because this is about his pension. That's what it feels like to me. You know, the way that it's worded, there is no chance. No chance he's leaving. It's no longer about the football for me with MESUT OZIL. That's what it seems like. And as I say, the timing of this, it's so selfish. It is so selfish in my eyes. You know, and it seems to me as well that, you know, they're more interested in the side of social media following as well. It was an interview with iNewspaper with Dr. Erkut Sogurt, his guy that does all his contracts. And everything I read was in speech marks, yeah? These are all direct quotes from the man. So this is the future. They've got it all mapped out. This is MESUT OZIL's future while he's at Arsenal. So even if someone comes in the summer and they want to take him for football reasons because they believe that he can help their team and they're going to guarantee him playing time, but they ain't going to pay up that money, he ain't going nowhere. And I think that's a really sad state of affairs. And it bothers me why people would just relentlessly defend him. And again, I'm only talking about it on the football side. And people say to me, why are you so bothered about the salary, Stan? I bet if you was working for a company and your boss offered you 350 grand a week, you'd take it. I would take it. But I wouldn't expect my employees and my colleagues to give me a pass when I don't produce the services that are expected for the money that I'm being paid, and for them to turn a blind eye. That's my little rant over.
IG, did you want to add anything onto the article or any comments on that?
I think in the recent state of events, I think the news that I have is that yes, Ozil's agent has spoken about the future of MESUT OZIL. He said that the future of Ozil is at Arsenal, and currently they're not looking to go to any other club. And he would surely, there are two options with him: either he runs down his contract, or he's not ruling out the fact that Arsenal will offer him a new contract. And I was really shocked. I mean, why would Arsenal do that? Seriously, on what context would you do that? I mean, when you're talking about renaissance, when you're talking about a new era beckons when you got new players. I mean, Emil Smith-Rowe is ripping apart Huddersfield. Get him back. I mean, if you feel like you need an extra striker, get Tyrese John-Jules from Lincoln City. I mean, these guys are very, very young, just like Bukayo Saka, and they can do the job. Even if they're not, they may take a season or something like that, or probably buy a new player against MESUT OZIL. Just what, you know, I actually saw Bruno Fernandes yesterday night, you know, ripping it for Manchester United. I think, you know, they've got their Kevin De Bruyne. I think we could do something like that, because I think for a player of MESUT OZIL's, the way he plays, I mean, those type of midfielders you won't find nowadays at all. Because nowadays all the midfielders are very much aware of their lines, are very much hardworking in defending, are very much ready to do the dirty work as well. I mean, they're ready to cover for you if an attack or if there is an overload, and you won't be seeing that. I mean, with MESUT OZIL, you would see him drop back, try to help those, you know, a bit of link up play. It's not that I don't know. See, I've seen MESUT OZIL perform this season, and I'm really happy with the way things have been this season. But I think with that big price tag, with that big name, with that big, you know, he's actually, you know, the expectations are too high. And when you don't meet that expectations, I think it's really sad to hear an article something like that. And son, it's completely, you know, wrong, you know, as an Arsenal fan, to expect him to perform day in, day out as well, because at one point of time, you know, that, you know, we know this player, like for the past 3 seasons he's on the decline, and if you can accept it or not, but a player in that position, it costs a lot of millions. I mean, I don't know what's Arsenal going to do about it.
Mube, I know you've said so many times on podcasts on Cannon Fodder TV that you're not an Özil fan, but you find a way to kind of challenge the comments, because I'm not an Özil fan. And I've got to say, actually, last night he was probably one of the players that was trying to take the fight to Olympiakos last night. But again, we always end up at this point. What are your thoughts about this article that came out?
The thing that gets me about this article, and that's why I published this article, because people do this stuff for public study. Ozil has always said that he's not leaving Arsenal. Yet last night wasn't the first we heard it when played him at all. He said the same thing, that he wasn't leaving. He loved Arsenal and he wanted to stay and play for the club. Now, the summertime come, players can go, players can come, everybody. He's not going to come out and say, I want to leave Arsenal now. That'd be the wrong thing to say. That's his agent. He's not going to say that. So even if they're planning to leave in the summer, why would he come out of the club more? Regardless if he's going to, I think he's going to do eventually. He's going to go to the best club and say that he want to leave Arsenal or not. So stuff like this that comes out at a time like this, I think it's a stunt. Like recently, this is something that he always has said. But this morning, you're mad at Arsenal. We're mad at these players. Who's the easy target? Ozil is always the easy target for fans. He always is the easy target, because this is just what happens all the time. Like I said, you blame Ozil, you blame the best players at the club. I see people blaming them. That's just what happened. You blame the club. I do think he loves the club. Yes, he's not the players that he was 5 years ago. A lot better than a lot of the players that are still in our midfield right now. Players get their chances and they don't perform. It's not just Ozil that does that. Under Emery, he wasn't playing. We still wasn't winning. These players are in the same position. We still wasn't winning. Emirates a couple of times on Emery. He didn't do well. Yes, he's at Huddersfield now. But let's not bring this kid back right now and just storm in the firing line. And then he's going to come and he's going to fail. And then we're just going to cast him away, just like Niles. He had a pretty good time. At one point, he was pretty good. Everybody was thinking he was the second coming at right back. It didn't work out for him. So these players, I don't think Ozil will be here after the summer. But I do think he loves. He loves being in London. Yes, he loves it. Of course, he loves the money that he's being paid. $350,000. Who wouldn't be? He's human. He's human. You can't just expect him not to. You got to remember, when he signed for the club, when he signed that contract, in a predicament where we would lose him, Sanchez would forgive the club if that happened at that point, when we were all happy that he did, because we were about to lose two of the best players that we had in years. So now we just have to deal with him till the summer is gone. I didn't see the game last night. I didn't see the game at all last night. I don't know how. He didn't do his job. The goal scorer didn't do their job. It got nothing to do with $350,000 a week. The players just didn't perform last night. All of them didn't. I think it's just because of the money while he's here. I really do think he wants to play for Arsenal. He wants to do good. He's trying. He is trying. You see him on the field. He's trying. Yes, he's not going to run around like Henderson at Liverpool, because he's not that kind of player. He's De Bruyne. Yes, he's on decline, but I do not for a minute think that he's only here because he's getting paid $350,000. I don't care what anybody say. They're just using that money against him, and I don't think that's right.
Yeah,
If I could come in, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I would really like to. If Mube says that he's trying, I think his trying is not enough. I think that trying is not enough. And if you want to talk about the situation wherein we were, in dire straits in actually signing either Sanchez or Ozil for a contract extension, I think that is the biggest blunder in Arsenal's history. I mean, if you know that there is Ozil, and then on one page there is Ozil, on one page there is Sanchez. If I were the one to decide, I would have given a contract to Sanchez. But that doesn't matter, because after that,
Sanchez didn't want to stay. He didn't want to stay.
Sanchez is a flop. Sorry, I didn't get you.
Sanchez didn't want to stay. Sanchez was done. He didn't want to stay. He wanted to go to Manchester City. You can't force a player to stay if he don't.
At the same exact time, we had a chance to give a contract to Ramsey as well. We didn't give him a new contract. We lost Ramsey for a free.
We would have been in the same position that we are with Ozil now with Ramsey if we gave him that big contract. That's what I've been trying to get to some fans that I've been arguing with, but I've been in other situation, because you're saying pay Ramsey $350,000 and don't pay Ozil. Juventus pay Ramsey $400,000. He played like 6 games this year for him. He's been on the bench or he's been injured. It's the same thing. You can't do it with one player and don't do it with the next player. Sanchez didn't want to stay here. He wanted to go to Manchester City. Manchester City did what Arsenal was asking for him, so he ended up going to Manchester United for more money. What happened to Sanchez since he left? He went in decline. We didn't know what was going to happen to Ozil. At that point, Ozil was a good player. At that point, he was playing well. The season before that, him and Sanchez had one of the best partnerships we've seen since Henry left this club. At that point, when he signed that contract, he was one of the best players in the Premier League. We can't just use 3 years down the line and say, oh, we wouldn't give him that contract 3 years ago. Ramsey is no better than Ozil. Well, first thing, Ramsey cannot stay fit enough to prove that he's better than Ozil. Every year, Ramsey was here with us last year. He played well, and when we needed him in the latter part of the season, he was out watching the game like me and you. So Ramsey is not a good player to tell me that we should have gave Ramsey the money. Because Ramsey, he broke his leg, he has proven that we cannot count on him to play more than 20 games a season. It's just a fact.
That is a fact, but he has a reason to not perform, and that is injury. Mesut Ozil does not even have that reason. I mean, if you're considering him as a playmaker, since you made him sign a new contract, I know you got to understand that when you're offering a player a contract that big, okay, it doesn't make difficult for the same club. It becomes difficult for another club if they want this kind of player, or it becomes difficult for you as well if you want to sell that player, because at the end of the day, the player looks for those wages in a new club as well. Who's going to pay 350K a week? There are very less clubs who do that. One's Barcelona, another one is Real Madrid, other one is Juventus. Maybe Juventus don't want them because they really have 6 to 8 midfielders in that position. They don't want it. Real Madrid threw him off when he was tearing La Liga up. They didn't want him. Barcelona, they select specific kind of players. They didn't want him. Who else? Fenerbahce. I mean, those kind of teams don't play these kind of ridiculous wages. We did. That's the problem. I think nobody could have expected the blunder that happened in offering contracts. I mean, I think there are millions of Arsenal fans who still believe that the the worst time that we were robbed was when Aaron Ramsey left on a free. You can say he was injured, you can say whatever he wants, but whenever he played, he stepped up. He got more goals and assists than Ozil last season. And you say he was injured. He didn't even play.
Let me ask you one quick question, Let me ask you one quick question. So you think at that point we had to choose between 2 players? It was Sanchez and it was Ozil. Sanchez went to Man United. So do you think that Manchester United make a big blunder by signing Sanchez? Because he's been worse than Ozil for Manchester United. So either way, that's what I'm saying. If Ozil had left and Sanchez had stayed, and Sanchez would have been performing like he is now, he's a lost soul at this point. He got injured at that point. So if we had keep Sanchez and paid him $400,000 or whatever he wanted, he went to Manchester United and made $500,000. We would have been saying the same thing about Sanchez currently, right? If he didn't perform and we signed him to that big contract, it would have been the same thing.
It would have been, but when he went to Manchester United, he gave an interview where he said that he wasn't happy. He was happier at Arsenal. You never know what is psychological state of affairs for a player. I mean, how many times Sanchez was frozen out when Mourinho was in charge? Because he was not performing.
He was happy but he wasn't performing the last season. The last 6 months Sanchez was here. Remember what Sanchez did and how Sanchez acted at that. Between August to December, nobody remember what Sanchez did between that way he was on the bench laughing when we was getting smacked up at Liverpool. Okay, he was on the bench laughing. He wanted to go to Manchester so bad. He didn't care nothing about Arsenal. He did not give 100% between August and December, his last season that he was there. That's why we had to get rid of him. He did not want to stay at Arsenal to get paid the $500,000 a week that he went to Manchester United and get. Manchester City wasn't going to pay that. Arsenal wasn't going to pay that. We had to pick between one of the players. If I had to pick one of the players, you're going to pick the one that want to stay or the one that obviously do not want to be here. Sanchez did not want to be at Arsenal anymore. He proved that the last 6 August to December, he was one of the most disruptive players in the club from that period. He did not score a lot of goals. He didn't even start a lot of games because Wenger wouldn't even play him. And he was on the bench laughing every time we was getting smacked up by teams. We were losing, and our best player was sitting on the bench laughing and smiling. Fine, because now we got this agenda against Ozil. We should have kept Sanchez. It would have been the same.
No.
If I could,
Let's go. Just if you go first of all, right, the article was published on the 28th of February. It's not a duff article. It was written by a proper journalist, and it came out about 1:30 in the morning. Mesut Ozil's got one of the best PR teams going, and they don't speak on his behalf unless they know what it is that they're doing. So that article was very selfish and poorly timed. But going back to the what you were saying about Sanchez and Ozil, you're right. His Sanchez's form was into the toilet well before we sold him. He was disruptive. He done all of those things that you said, laughing on the bench. He was greedy. He was more concerned about the money. He didn't care whether City was going to give it to him or Man United. Otherwise, he would have fought tooth and nail to go to the team that he wanted. But as for making a choice between him and Ozil, I never made a choice. I wanted Sanchez gone. And when I found out the size of the contract that we were going to offer to Mesut Ozil, I thought it was a joke, because there is no way on God's green earth I believed that Mesut Ozil was worth that return. I wanted them both gone. Now, I know at the time that there was panic in the fan base, and a lot of people were saying, if we get rid of both of them, it's going to be a civil war. And I was listening to that, but I was never part of that. I was always saying, you know what? I'd get rid of both of them and start rebuilding from now. That's what
That's all I'm trying to say, Stan. We cannot use the fact that we gave Ozil 350 to tell me that it would have been right to give Sanchez or Ramsey 350. You cannot get that across me. I will not accept that.
Sure.
Because those two.
Sorry.
Ozil is right now. I just don't see it. Maybe I'm blind, but I don't see it. No, it would have been the same exact thing if you give it to any one of those players.
We agree on that, but Aaron Ramsey did not want anywhere near £350,000 a week. It wasn't far off of a 250,000, and the club and Aaron Ramsey's contract people, there was something of about a £20,000 discrepancy between what both sides wanted. It wasn't a lot. And what I will say is, although Aaron Ramsey does have a bad fitness history, what I think most Arsenal fans like about Ramsey is that at least you can see a tangible end product from Aaron Ramsey when he plays for Arsenal. And I don't see a tangible end product for Mesut Ozil when he plays for Arsenal at all. At all. He had that one game quite recently where he scored a goal, and everyone's been saying that he's been playing really well under Arteta. I think he's been quite average. He's not been terrible, but he has not looked like a £350,000 a week player. And you have to hold somebody accountable. Somebody decided that was fit to pay him. Somebody signed that off. Whether it was Gazidis and Wenger, it's concerning that they wrote that money off. I don't blame Ozil for taking it. What I blame Mesut Ozil for is the way that his contract people are framing that article. It's the wording of it. He ain't going nowhere. It doesn't matter what you do or what you say. The guy is not going anywhere. That's how it comes across. It comes across very sort of like, fuck you, he's taking his money. Almost a little bit like Winston Bogarde when he was at Chelsea. And he came out of favour. And so they tried to find all of these different clubs for him. And he kept talking to these other clubs and kept saying, yeah, well, it's not the same money that Chelsea's paying me, so I'm going to say no. And how long did he sit in the reserves for? He sat in the reserves for about 3 years just because he wanted the money. It was never about playing. And it feels to me that it's the same with MESUT Ozil now. He knows that his powers have waned. No one's sniffing around him. Nobody's out there saying, oh, we're interested in MESUT Ozil. No one's trying to turn his head. His powers have waned. And for us to be continually shelling out that money a week, it's a crime. It's a crime.
So
I think
in the real world, what ideally would you like Arsenal to do? What would
drive
you
him
like?
out into the desert and leave him there with one flask of water.
All right, I'll speak to Arteta about that.
No, realistically, what we should be doing is we should be offering him to anyone that we can in the summer on loan, and we have to strike up a deal where we pay 50-50 of it. So we'll still be taking a hit, but he's out of sight and he's out of mind, and we start rebuilding with the right attitudes on the pitch.
Okay. IG, what did you want to say something quickly before we move on, IG?
I think it all got heated up, but I think when you talk about 350K a week, that's like expecting a player like Kevin De Bruyne, a player like Raheem Sterling, who give you returns in terms of not 10 goals, not 15 goals, but 20 goals per season in, season out. Stay fit, be readily available when you want them to. But since Arsenal I have accepted this fact. In the last 3 seasons, Arsenal have become a mid-table team, and it's because of the players, it's because of the managers, it's because of every single. When you're running a club, I think the biggest important, obviously the players are, and obviously the manager, the head coach, everyone is. But the most important thing is the administration and the players who are actually handling, the people who are actually handling the players. I mean, the one who's recruiting the talent. You've got to stay ahead of probably 2 years maybe to see how exactly this is panning out. Because every player, if you've got Pepe, you know that there's no end product. There are a lot of skills involved. He needs to develop a little. You know that now. You've understood that. Fine. So you change your tactics accordingly. When you see Martinelli, he bursts forward. He can play in the left, but centrally he's lethal. He heads better than Lacazette. He heads better than Aubameyang. He's good in air. His movement is unbelievable. You can't expect that from an 18-year-old. It's unbelievable. Bukayo Saka. So you've got to have a vision. If you don't have somebody who how Liverpool have been managed in the recent times. Why have they won the Champions League in the 3 seasons of Jurgen Klopp? Because of their policies, the transfer policies. Did you know that they inserted a clause when Barcelona came calling for Felipe Coutinho? They put up a clause that they cannot buy a Liverpool player ever for the next 2 seasons. And even if they do, they have to pay twice the market value. That's what you do. That shows me that team wants to win something because they want to keep hold of their assets, their players, Salah, Van Dijk, Mane, Firmino, Wijnaldum. They want to win something, rather being a selling club like Borussia Dortmund, like what Ajax have become. So I want somebody in that administration to have a vision, to see if they see that somebody's in decline, take the step. Mourinho took the step. He got rid of Ozil. He thought that he wasn't the right person to be at Real Madrid. I mean, that worked really great for us for the 2-3 seasons. But look where we are. We didn't see that for the next 2 to 3 seasons. We're stuck with him. Yes, we are stuck with him. And it's not only Ozil. I'm just not going to blame only Ozil. I mean, obviously, it's a team thing, and there are lots of average players around that may not bring the best out of Mesut Ozil, which is actually not much is left in him. But whatever is, he's giving his best. But that's not enough. You can be emotionally attached, but emotions don't win you games. I mean, it builds characters. It brings you closer to the player. You can love the player all you want, but if he doesn't give you the return, I don't think so. I mean, come on.
This is why I don't like to talk about Ozil so much on Canal 42, because he's such a divisive player. Amongst the fans, so divisive that it generates so much passion, not only on the Canal 42, but amongst the fan base. That's why I try and avoid speaking about Ozil on Canal 42 TV. The chat has just gone in overdrive. So I'm going to pick and choose what there has been. I can see Shamak he's come back into the chat. Okay, so I'll just take this one. Shamak says, Ozil is a great human being, but not a great footballer. Lumber Camp says Ozil is a leech with better PR than Jesus. Oh, spot on Stan. He is here for the money. All negative towards Ozil. Let's have a look. This board is a small club mentality. Raul didn't go for the first option, which was Mourinho, but he went for the cheap option, which is Arteta. I still have my doubts with this guy. Listen, it's early days. It's early days with Arteta. Got to give him a try.
Did you say Mourinho? You say Mourinho?
Yeah.
Get out of here, man.
Yeah.
He's not the real Marwan Sharma.
Get out of here.
Oh, dearie me. Of course, we were unbeaten in 2020, but how many of those games were draws? We only have 7 wins. That's relegation form. I think 7 wins and 7 losses, you mean? In the Premier League was still competitive this year. We would be at least 14. Oh, my goodness. Mourinho. God, dearie me. There's another one here. Juventus FC is smart. They got Ramsey on a free, and he will possibly end at Everton in the summer. Is that possible? Lumberka, at least Ramsey can score. Ozil is useless. Maybe just a couple more. A lot of anger for an easy talk that comes from the original Glenn, IG.
I wouldn't say it was anger. I would just say it's some home truths.
Yeah, could be. Oh my God! Now the torches are out for Arteta. And one more. We'll go one more.
Not here. Not here. Not here.
Not here either.
Yeah. Robbie liked the win last week. He was on his yacht in Athens, Greece. After yesterday, he sold his yacht, villa, and cricket bar for a good price and moved on to a Champions League location. I don't know which Robbie you're talking about. We don't have a Robbie here. Once that guy mentioned Mourinho, I start to follow what he's saying now, because everything seemed like a joke from that point. Mourinho, come on, man. They're 1 point. Arteta won what, 2 games, 3 games, and he's 1 point behind Tottenham. Ever since he said that, everything that come up on the screen that said Marwan Shamak, it just looked like a joke to me. Yeah, someone's trolling us. And one more from Glenn. We need not have these knee-jerk reactions. Manager is one of the things we have got correct. I had to give Arteta some time, although he's not the manager. He's the head coach, isn't he? IG head coach. Right, guys. Again, whoever's watching now, make sure you subscribe to Cannon Freud TV. Also, check out Stan the Man's segment on Cannon Freud TV. Gunners of Vancouver, absolute blinder of a segment. And go and check out his latest installment of the Arsenal versus Olympiakos. Who was the young chap you had on, Stan?
That's a young guy called Kyle. He
Kyle.
travels down. First of all, earlier in the season, his mum would bring him down, and it would be funny. He'd come in with his mum, and his mum would just be sat there, and then he'd be sat in front of her watching the big screen, and then she'd drive him back because it's quite a distance from where he lives, from outside of town.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite nice to get a perspective from a young gunner to see what why he supports Arsenal. Growing up all the way over there in Canada.
Is he still supporting Arsenal after last night?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Right.
He don't
know, Ruben. Maybe he's for. Oh no, it's the wrong team.
You for sure.
If I ever see him with a half scarf, then that's it.
There are fans who say that Mourinho should have been appointed. Who asked?
IG, your microphone. your microphone. We can't hear you again. The same problem with the microphone.
Can you hear me now?
That's better. Yeah.
Yeah, Stan, I would want you to ask Kyle whom does he want? Does he want Mourinho? Because there are fans who still believe in Mourinho being at Arsenal. So I think I really don't have faith in humanity left.
I think he's happy with what we've got from what he was telling me. Well, for now, anyway.
All right, listen. So the next time Arsenal are back in action, we'll be back in a FA Cup action again, but this time against Portsmouth on Monday. Mube, what do you think we can expect from the Arsenal? Is there going to be a reaction from the players, or is it going to be same old Arsenal? Do you reckon? Oh, Mube, can you hear me? Nah, Mube.
Hear me now?
We can hear you. Yeah. We're talking about Arsenal next time. They're going to be back in action. Yeah, there's going to be back in the FA Cup action. What do you think we'll see a reaction from the Arsenal, or is it going to be the same old Arsenal come Monday?
We'll see. Of course, we'll see a reaction. I think we're just hoping that he played some different. I want to see something different, man. Play some different players. They're tired of the same old thing. Expecting different results. Martinelli, then Nketiah's. I want to see what is the center back that we signed. I would love to see him get some game time. I mean, how bad can he be? Like, let's see what's going on. We're dealing with Mustafi and Socrates on a weekly basis. It's time to see. We signed this guy, so if he's not going to play on this game against Portsmouth, when is he going to play? So I'd love to see him get some game time, start, not just come on, or I want to see him play and start the game. I just want to see some fresh blood in there, man. Love to see Torreira get back in the team. Give Granit Xhaka a break. He's been playing well, but he's been playing a lot. Same thing with Aubameyang. He's been playing well, but he's been playing a lot. I wish we had another left back to give Saka a rest, because he's been playing a lot also. These players are they're out of it right now. We got to give them a break. We have to take chances. We're going to create chances against Portsmouth, but like IG said when we first start, if you don't take your chances, it's going to come back to bite you. The last thing we want is a replay. I don't know if can we still get replay at this point, or is that over?
No, we can still get a replay.
Yeah, so the last thing that we want is a replay in another game at the Emirates, and it won't be a good look. So I'm expecting us to win, but like I said, I just want to see some different players. Give these other players a chance.
Yeah. Stan, your thoughts on FA Cup action?
I'm interested to see how much of rotation there is, whether he wants some of these players to go out and to redeem themselves in that game, or whether he keeps them out of the firing line and rotates heavy. Because there's two players that don't seem to be getting anywhere near the team of late, and that's Reece Nelson and Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I don't know what the story is there. I think Reece Nelson's fit, but he doesn't seem to be getting any kind of a look in. And I don't know what's happened with Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Arteta seemed to be keen to use him. And I thought that when he was chomping at Hector Bellerin's ankles, it was getting better performances out of Hector Bellerin. When Hector knows he's got somebody that could take his place, he always seems to perform a little bit better and raise his game a little bit better. And that doesn't seem to be happening at the moment. I don't know what's going on there. So I don't know how I couldn't call the game, because I really have no idea what kind of squad we're going to see. Is he going to stick with Lacazette up the front in an FA Cup game, or we're going to see someone like Eddie Nketiah start, or maybe even Gabriel Martinelli start through the middle, like he did in some of the earlier games in the Europa League? It's hard to say.
That's cool. IG, your thoughts on FA Cup action come Monday night?
Well, I don't know what's going to happen, but one thing is pretty much Lacazette anywhere near the bench, or he should not be even named in the squad, because I think we've got 11 Premier League games and this FA Cup tie. That's all what we got. I mean, 12 games for the season left for us. We even think about changing for us now, and I think I would really like to see Cedric and Tierney, play for once. And even as what Mube said, Pablo Mari. I mean, I would like to see the new people, because in the recent injury update from the official Arsenal website, I actually Murray, I'm sorry, Cedric Soares and Kieran Tierney have actually started the training as well. So it could come in Mikel Arteta, but I would really like to see those two as well, and I would really like to see. For once, Hector Bellerin should understand that he is not the only right back at Arsenal. He needs to if he wants his place, he needs to fight for it. If he does not, he needs to find another place maybe. But I think more importantly, more important than that, I would really like to see Joe Willock. I would want to see. I think he's also been another midfielder who can score goals. But he was less wasteful last season, but he's more wasteful this season. And there are certain chances where he was quite off color. So I think I would like to see that. But most importantly, centrally, I would really like to see Martinelli. I've missed him. I've missed him since the goal against Chelsea. It's like Tottenham are way better than when Harry Kane doesn't play. Others get more chances. Same as with Arsenal when Aubameyang was sent up for 3 games. We saw Martinelli burst up.
IG, there's some interference with your microphone. There's some interference. It doesn't sound.
Is it okay?
No.
Plug it back in.
Right, so whilst IG's trying to sort out his mic, let me quickly go into the chat.
There you go.
Got one here. Shamak again. If we lose against Portsmouth, I would not be surprised. Okay. And here's one from my co-host and my brother. Hope that there will be a reaction after what happened last night. Put the youngsters in. Much love to you guys. Hi, Mube. Did you hit Hennessy after last night?
No, I needed to, but I didn't. I had to go to work this morning, so I stayed away from it. It's coming. It's coming today, though. It's Friday. Don't worry. Got a fresh bottle, buddy. Got a fresh bottle.
Nice.
If we play all youngsters, we should still beat Portsmouth. Listen, with Arsenal, you just never can tell, can you? Never can tell with Arsenal. Let's have a look.
I think we all of us over this season. If we could hit a button right now and end the season, every Arsenal fan would hit that button. Every last one of us would.
Yeah.
They gotta go.
Let's have a look. Here's one for you guys. Ancelotti will be doing better than Arteta. Trust me.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Help me.
Why should we trust him? I mean, we would have seen Ancelotti making those faces in an Arsenal dugout.
Hey, I've seen Ancelotti playing against us with his Napoli team with way better players than he got at Everton. And Emery pretty much outplayed him over the two legs. Pretty much slapped them up at the Emirates. Went away from home. There's nothing that Ancelotti's a done manager. He's just as good as Mourinho is. Okay. They're leeching from other clubs, just like Mourinho. He go to these clubs. He's going to take Tottenham for everything they have. He's not going to win. They're not going to win a trophy over there. That's a fact. Okay, he's going to take all the money they have over there, and then he's going to leave and go to the next big thing. Don't want those players. Ancelotti was a good manager, just like Arsene Wenger was a great manager. He's past it, man. Why take a step backwards? Time to move on.
Ancelotti always sounds wine drunk to me when I hear him speaking in interviews. He sounds like he's had a barrel of red wine. It's like
Ugandan Knuckles, what's happening? He says, yo. It says, it's time to go.
Who?
He also goes on to say, Ancelotti is making Calvert-Lewin look like was that Little Adriano? Adriano.
Adriano.
One more. I'll give it to Glenn. I'll take Arteta over Ancelotti any day, but Everton has definitely improved. He's definitely improved Everton. Well,
So have Arsenal. Mustafi looked like Maldini, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying?
And Ozil, Zinedine Zidane.
Slim Shady.
Yeah.
Oh dear! Listen, guys, I'm gonna call it quits on this feature-length version of the Easytalk. I did say it wasn't going to be a bite size, so I hope you guys feel a lot better.
I do.
Yeah. Okay.
I do
Ruben?
for sure.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
Same here. Same here.
I needed that.
Nice one. So yeah, you heard it from the mafia, mafia. You know, part of Canon 4 TV, man. The guys, full house, man. Full house. IG, as always, you know, thanks for coming on the Easytalk. Much appreciated.
It's always great until and unless I'm actually coming here for cupcakes. I'm just waiting when it's coming.
We've been on the cupcakes again. There's no more cupcakes, man. Stan the man. Again, guys, make sure you go over, put your comments in, you know, Gooners in Vancouver. Let Stan know what your thoughts are on any kind of after game reactions. Stan, as always, again, thanks for coming on the Easytalk.
Thanks for having me. I found that very cathartic. I needed that today.
Okay, good. Nice one. Mubeguna, on fire.
Yes, sir. Make sure you tell that Moreau Shamet guy don't follow me on Twitter because it won't be nice. Anybody that mentioned Mourinho on my Twitter handle is getting blocked. Automatic. It's automatic. So make sure you tell him do not search for me because it won't be good.
Before we go, we've got this little thing that we have on Canon 42 that every time we mention the number 10's name on the channel, some money goes into the pot. Stan,
we're rich today.
It's incredibly heavy.
Oh, dear me. Listen, if you guys
I'm going to send the contents to MESUT OZIL when I hit the target.
Oh, Stan, come on. Let it go.
Right, I know.
You want him to fund it?
I just don't think you understand, Stan. I just don't think you understand.
I don't.
If you guys have been wondering who or what you've been watching Canon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world.